From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Heads Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Kruger. We've got the cool and unsettled weather pattern kicking in here for today. Starting on the coast, working its way eastward into the valley, and eventually the eastern mountains as well. There's a winter weather advisory east of the valley here. We've also got some gusty winds and a wind advisory for central Siskiyou County for this afternoon and tonight as well. Should be dry and warmer, especially as we go into the second half of the weekend, early next week. And speaking of next week, it looks like it's going to be mostly dry and maybe a little bit warmer through a good portion of next week as well. All right, here's your neighborhood forecast at a glance. And again, the timing of all this we'll get into when we look at Futurecast. But overall, everyone is eventually going to get in on the rain. It's going to start on the west for the coast, working its way to the central parts of NorCal. So, for example, the valley, Siskiyou County, and then eventually in the eastern mountains and Modoc County, getting in on it as well. And it's going to be cooler out there today as well. Now, again, I talked about those winds. Now, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle in central Siskiyou County, just know that we've got gusts possibly upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour through the afternoon and into this evening. Also, some gusty winds for the valley, eastern mountains, and even the coast, seeing some of those strong winds as well. Now, by tonight, that is, most of the winds will be in the east side of the valley in the eastern mountains, but the winds finally dying down in central Siskiyou County. But still a little breezy, especially out towards Del Norte County here later on tonight. Tomorrow, another storm system passing through, gusty winds at times for the mountains, for the valley, even the coast, seeing some of those gusty winds as well. And then those winds probably picking back up again for the valley for Friday afternoon. But when we look at the humidity, that's kind of the really concern when we're talking about fire weather risk. So for today, a little bit of a risk with those south strong winds for the valley, because you can see those humidities are still pretty low, 20 to 30%. That's still low, folks, despite the fact that we do have that rain that's moving in from the west. But by the time we get into Thursday with those gusty winds I was talking about, not concerned about fire weather anymore, because now we've got 50, 60, even 70% with that humidity in the valley, and even higher humidity, even with those gusty winds on Friday, with 70, 80, close to 90%. Again, of course, with that rain coming into the forecast. All right, so here's the big picture. Area of low pressure, cold front that's approaching, most of the rain starting to our north in the Pacific Northwest, but then eventually, as we go through the afternoon, everyone's going to get in on the rain, snow in the mountains for today and tomorrow. All right, so let's walk you through the timing of all that. We'll take a look at Futurecast. So let's take you through this afternoon into about 6 o'clock this evening. There you can see, I think everyone, by the time we get into the mid to late afternoon, I think we're going to be looking at that widespread scattered showers across the region. So we're not going to be looking at rain for everyone right at 6 p.m., but we're on the back edge of the storm for the north coast, so things are tapering off at least by 6 o'clock this evening for the coast. And then, of course, the valley seeing some of the showers, but most of it is in the higher elevations. Now, snow levels at this point, probably somewhere around 4,500 feet, give or take. So if you're heading out on Highway 3 this evening or tonight, do take note that you may run into some snow there. And then as we go into tonight around 10 p.m., now we're seeing a lot more snow here. Places like El Turris, Chester, you could see a dusting of snow through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Not a lot, but a dusting of snow. And we'll also have to watch for the potential for chain requirements for some of those higher mountain passes, mainly above 5 and probably closer to 6,000 feet. So places like Cedar Pass, Hatchet Mountain, even Fredonia Summit, for example, all of these areas above 5,000 feet, Bogard Ranger Station could be looking at the potential for some snow accumulating even on the roadway. But of course, it depends on how cold those roads get, and eventually as we go into the overnight hours, they will drop. But we're on the back edge of the storm, even for the valley, by the time you get to 10 o'clock tonight. Once that moves out, we've got another round coming in. Now, it doesn't look to be as active for your Halloween day. Here's noon on Halloween, scattered showers across the board, even the valley getting on some of that action. Although the valley probably won't see as much as the mountains will, but you see how it's just more away in the isolated activity here across the board. Even at 5 p.m. when maybe we start to see those trick-or-treaters out there, best chance for scattered showers will be in the mountains. For the valley around Redding, maybe Anderson, Palisadro, Cottonwood, maybe a stray shower, stray sprinkle. But even as we go into 8 o'clock tonight, most of the rain is gone, maybe a stray shower just in the north and east of Redding, and some stray showers for the mountains. Then later on tomorrow, as we go into Friday, then of course we're seeing more showers as we go into Friday morning. And in fact, look at this, as we go into Friday around noon, some scattered showers in the mountains in particular, and then we see this last little round of some heavier rainfall for parts of Northern California by late in the day Friday night, and it may linger on into Saturday morning as well. So looking at the forecast rain totals, we'll stop it each day. So by 5 o'clock today, most of the rain will have been to the north and west, a quarter to a half an inch for the coast, less heading to the east, nothing at this point as we head into Modoc County, Lassen, Plumas counties. Then we go into tomorrow about 5 p.m. Now we're seeing upwards of a quarter of an inch of rainfall for some of us in the valley, maybe over an inch for some of us along the coast. So this is basically now through Thursday 5 p.m. As we go now through Friday 5 p.m., we can see a quarter to maybe even a half an inch for some of us in the valley, less than that to the east, and of course, most of it off to the west. And the reason being, storms coming in from the northwest, working their way eastward. As they do work eastward, these storms, depending on how strong they are, they tend to break apart as they hit the coastal range, and we see less rainfall over the valley. Sometimes you get some of that, what we call the orographic lifting for the mountains east of the valley, and you can see a nice little area of some rainfall there. But off to the northeast, Lassen County, eastern Plumas County, probably not as much rainfall once all is said and done. How about snow? I've been talking about snow. Now, on average, I'd say about 4,500 feet for now through Friday. I think they'll probably be even higher, though, by the time we do get into Friday. But by 5 p.m. today, we're not seeing a lot of snow out there. Not going to be an issue. But by tomorrow, by tonight to tomorrow, yeah, look how we're seeing more snow. Look at Mount Shasta, the mountain. We take you out to the Warner Mountains. You're seeing some of that snow there. And then now through Friday, you see the areas in pink. Now you're getting upwards of over a foot of snow. But again, you have to go up pretty high in elevation. Mount Shasta, Lassen Peak, Warner Mountains, some of the Marble Mountains, Trinity Alps, for example. But as far as accumulating snow for some of those lower mountain communities, no, I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. Places like Mount Shasta City, Bernie, you might, if you're lucky, see a mix. We might see a light dusting of snow for Alturas and maybe even Chester. You're going to have to go above 4,000 feet, 4,500 feet, before you might start to see that dusting of snow for some of those mountain communities. So you have to go into some of the higher mountain communities, like I said, like Alturas, like Chester, like Upper Shingletown, Viola, for example. Okay, so that's what it's looking like with the snow. Not going to be a major issue, but be sure to go to weathernorcal.com and click on the road conditions, and that'll be the great one-stop shop for you to understand what the road conditions are like, from chain requirements to even the Caltrans cameras. All right, so we're not going to go into too much timing. We'll just kind of show this is the first storm that's coming through today and tonight. That passes. By Thursday, just some leftover isolated showers as we saw, right? And then we see storm system number 2 come in late in the day Friday night. That pushes to the east. Now, Saturday morning, it will linger, I think, for all of us. So there could be some early morning showers on Saturday, but by Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, it's gone. Now, this storm system right here, as we go into next Tuesday, may just clip Northern California, but for the most part, next week is looking warmer and drier. But we also may still see some gusty winds at times. Here we are next Thursday, so a week from tomorrow, we've got a classic setup for some gusty winds. And despite the fact that we're talking about rain and even snow in the mountains, these gusty winds could elevate our fire weather risk, unfortunately, as we get into the middle and latter part of next week. Because keep in mind, it's going to be dry most likely through next week. All right, so for today, temperatures low to mid 60s in the valley. For the mountains, 40s and 50s. For the coast, temperatures mid to upper 50s to around 60. We take a look at your 7-day outlook, region by region. Of course, for the valley, off and on chances for showers could linger into Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon should be dry. And you can see drier and warmer for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All All right, we take you out to the coast, inland, and for Trinity County, off and on showers, snow levels on average around 5,000 feet, give or take. Dry by the second half of the weekend and slightly warmer going into early next week. We take a look at Siskiyou, Modoc, and the Eastern Mountains, and also looking at the showers out there and off and on through Friday, maybe into Saturday morning, and then we dry things out and warm it up slightly for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back again at 6 o'clock this evening for the latest forecast.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.